Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil. Does Biden know what Mexico is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at? I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence.
Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. The entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back. Another episode of the Veritas Road. Carson back here with Murph. Our top story tonight, breaking this afternoon, Los Angeles police have reported that presidential candidate Kamala Harris has been released from custody after a so-called incident at a local Michelin-starred restaurant. After imbibing several drinks, the Democratic nominee was seen arguing loudly and becoming belligerent with the chef, owner, and several patrons of the restaurant, all whom remained anonymous. She is not being brought up on charges at this time, however, as the would-be victims reportedly dropped the case after her campaign team politely explained to them that she's just a stark raving bitch and was raised in the middle class. So that crisis averted.
I was waiting for some kind of, like pun like you normally do or some kind of play on words, but you just got right to the point.
Because a little bit more direct.
Oh, man, aren't you right? That's a perfect description of Miss Harris. And calling her Miss Harris is probably going too far. She's probably Mr. Harris. I bet Kamala Harris is Michelle Obama's brother. The world's that crazy.
Maybe so.
That was a good one. Isn't she like an alcoholic, so that could actually happen?
Allegedly. There are stories that are circulating. But,
Yeah.
who knows?
Who cares? She's
rest
crazy.
She is crazy. The rest of the shit on the news this week, moment of silence for Baggy Smith, dude. That's sad.
Yeah. She played McGonagall in Harry Potter.
And a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, but that's what probably most people, at least who are like under 40, know her as. But
yeah, that one hit me. There aren't many celebrity deaths that I really care about, but that was one. So there was I was looking through like some of the more like legacy news websites, and just journalism today is so bad. Like, it's terrible. So the first one I found is there's a whole article about how Trump criticized Kamala Harris for fundraising in California when the hurricane Helene hit Florida. Why does he care where she's at? Like, no one gives a f***. These politicians don't actually care what's going on to people in Florida. Why is he criticizing her for that? No one cares. But the whole article is focused on how, like, Trump said that Kamala Harris was doing some kind of fundraising in San Francisco on Saturday, but actually, says the article, she was fundraising in San Francisco the day before. And so they're just like throwing shade because he didn't know what day she was in what city. That's idiotic. So there's that. I thought that was dumb.
I don't know why that's a news story.
It shouldn't be. It's completely stupid.
I don't know, why do they have to fundraise? Like, Trump has $1 billion just everywhere. He could just sell a building and have $20 million just like that.
Yeah, what is he selling all this stuff for? Like the Trump Bible and the watches? Why does he need to sell those?
I need to get my hands on a Trump Bible. And then Kamala, like, she's connected to probably every super PAC ever, and probably just like straight up. I bet like Israel. I bet Netanyahu, instead of signing his name, he's just signed Israel on all of her checks. So, I mean, she has access to infinite super PAC money. So who cares?
Israel.
Yeah. Why would anyone donate to a political campaign at this point?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a story. Although that hurricane, that sucks for everybody.
It does. It does suck for people. Although, why are you sad that... Why are you living in... Move away from Florida. Bad things happen there. Get the out of that state. It's the dick of America. Get the out of there. What are you doing?
Okay, that's a lot of work for yourself, one. Second of all, like, North Carolina and East Tennessee got absolutely ravaged. Have you seen Asheville, North Carolina?
No, what happened?
It's got mega floods.
Oh, seriously?
Like 2010 level floods here. Probably worse. Yeah, so, and that's on the opposite end of the coast.
Right.
So they were probably not predicting a hurricane hitting in the mountains. Literally, the Great Smoky Mountains was flooded from a hurricane. So.
Right, and that's like more understandable than people who are like, "Is a hurricane? I'll just hang out here in Florida."
Plus, we don't even know what causes hurricanes. I think they make them, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
No, I mean it does suck, and I'm sorry for people who are struggling, but it just seems I don't understand why people live in Florida.
Well, it hit more than Florida is my point.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just focused on Florida.
Well, I'm sticking up for the mountains. There's no mountains in Florida.
All right, moving on. So there was an article on, oh gosh, what was it? MSNBC or CNN? I can't remember.
It's MSNBC.
On MSNBC about how, let me pull it up. I printed it off because I thought it was just so insane. Mitch McConnell denounces Republicans over fawning over Hungary's president. Who gives two shits what Mitch McConnell has to say now? Is he even, is he competent? He's in the same category as Joe Biden. Why are we running articles on his opinion
John,
all? No one cares.
John, can you hit the maybe later and get that out of there? I was trying to read that.
What? No one cares. And also, they're all about how apparently the president of Hungary is meeting with Trump, right? And they're all buddies with Putin. But nobody gives a everybody's pissed, right? When Trump meets with Putin and the president of Hungary. But if Kamala Harris does it, or if Gavin Newsom goes and meets with Xi Jinping, they're like, oh, well, they're good statesmen. Good for them. What the hell is going on?
So, what's wrong with Viktor Orban? What's wrong with Hungary? Are they nationalist? Are they John, do you know?
Supposedly they're anti-democratic, according to this article.
So they're on our side, right? They're nationalists.
What do you mean?
There's meeting with Bolsonaro. They would probably hate that because he's nationalist. I'm trying to decide: is Viktor Orban like Macron in France, or is he like Bolsonaro in Argentina? That's what I'm asking. And I don't think you understand.
I don't know who those people are.
You thinking of Javier Milei?
No, dude. The Trump guy, or maybe he's Brazil. Bolsonaro might be Brazil.
Yeah, Javier Milei is the president of Argentina. Is the guy you're thinking of?
But I'm asking if Viktor Orban is a populist nationalist or if he's a globalist.
I don't know. Trump likes to tout his praises a lot when he speaks.
So he's probably
he always speaks of him as being one of the toughest world leaders. I don't know a lot about him though.
Well, who cares? I mean, Carson's right. Who cares what Mitch McConnell has to say? He's like 1,000,000 years old.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't know enough about Viktor Orban. I might agree with him. I don't think I do, but it's possible.
I don't know. I've never looked too deeply into the guy. I just saw
Orban praise. Look at that. Orban's praise for the Russian government, such as the Kremlin, has been hyper-rational with its invasion of Ukraine. All right. So he's countercultural.
Yeah, he is. Big time.
Well, we can get involved. We can get on board with that. I can, at least. Maybe we need some pro-Hungary.
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Maybe we need some pro-Hungary flags.
I stand with Hungary?
Yeah.
That'd be weird. That'd be weird.
We can start that.
Yeah, we could. Let's not. So, Sam Elliott did a commercial for Kamala Harris.
That's sad.
I think the only way you could get me to vote for somebody like that would be to do a commercial with Sam Elliott's voice, right? But just the fact that Sam Elliott did a commercial for Kamala Harris kind of makes me a little sad.
Yeah, he's just part of the liberal elite, which is sad because, man, is Tombstone a great movie.
And I mean, how great is his voice, dude? And part of the commercial was like, be a man, vote for a woman,
Well, that's ridiculous.
Just propaganda.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But to poop on Sam Elliott real quick, freaking Val Kilmer made Tombstone.
That's a great movie.
And Sam Elliott was just a sidekick who got his arm blown off and he sucked in that movie.
Damn.
As far as the plot line is concerned. So, screw you, Sam Elliott.
Isn't he also the version of Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec?
He is, yeah.
Okay, then I guess it makes sense.
Ron Dunn.
Yeah.
In Parks and Rec, yeah. All right, last two things. Have you seen this video of Gwen Waltz talking about
Who is that?
the tires?
I don't know who that is.
It's Tim Waltz's wife. So Kamala's VP.
Okay, the governor.
Have you seen this video of his wife talking about the riots?
No, let's hear it.
Dude, listen to this.
Did we fix our Bluetooth problem?
We're about to find out.
Nope.
Wait, hold up.
You got to actually be connected to Bluetooth for the Bluetooth.
You got to make
work.
sure the output's on Bluetooth.
And don't lock us out, man.
That's what I didn't do.
There we go.
Tires.
All right,
And
turn that back, John. Turn that back to the beginning.
I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open for as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening.
What the And she's just opening her windows, smelling the burning tires because she feels like it's a touchstone of what she's in touch with the country. Crazy lady.
Dude,
She's a psychopath.
That was pandering, emotional nonsense at its finest. Like, anybody who takes that seriously has been fluorided to the point where they can't even breathe.
Dude, that's so weird.
Yeah, we need to do an episode on George Floyd. Like, dude, that was a whole massive crapshoot.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so last thing, just something I'm pissed off about. I'm so tired of the phrase normalize this and normalize that. That is the dumbest idea. Because all of these, like, neoliberals are all like, we need to normalize, like not being a part of, like, normal culture, you know, everybody needs to be different. We need to normalize that. But then if everybody's different, you know, nobody, you know, you see my point? It's retarded.
Yeah, I do hate that phrase. It's very Orwellian. It's normalizing. Is another way of saying complying. It's just long-term, like, compliance. You know. Yeah, I also hate that word. So
I'm tired of hearing people say normalize.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I had a lot for today. Sorry, I got excited while I was on the internet.
No, I agree with you. I don't have any more to say to that. Let's see mine.
Yeah.
This is also ridiculous. The sound suddenly went out of my headphones, so I hope I'm still showing up.
You are, yeah. I can hear
Okay.
you.
All right, as long as I am. So Biden put on a Trump hat, dude.
What?
Yeah. This is like a couple weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
what the hell?
so I guess he's just turned, or he got confused. I don't know what happened.
Biden's got a MAGA hat now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, this is a minute 19 seconds long. I think this was for
Can
9/11.
you hear?
No, don't worry about it.
Oh, you need to watch the video. It's kind of funny.
Well, our Bluetooth is clearly not fixed.
Yeah, it went out again. But just you can read the closed captions and get what
You're an old
get what's going on.
What the hell?
627. I wonder what that's for on his hat.
There is some old toothless redneck talking to Joe Biden about how he's old in this video.
And what's with all the kids?
And
Where
I don't
is
know
this?
what to do with that. Is this a grooming rally at the farmer's co-op? That's what this seems to be.
Probably.
That guy looks like he'd look great in a dress.
Does Biden understand what he's doing? he literally looks like an animatronic.
He looks confused. Oh, look at him. Wearing a he doesn't know what he's doing.
No,
You
dude.
can't make fun of him. He doesn't know what's going on.
Does he not look like he's like a robot at Disney World?
What in the world?
So that's the level of stupidity that this politics has come to.
That's hilarious.
Like, if you were taking politics seriously, like, how can anyone take it seriously after seeing that? Yeah, so that was my
yeah.
on the news to save you a bleep.
That Walt. What the hell?
Yeah. So will Biden vote for Trump? Biden might vote for Trump because, I mean,
Just on accident?
No, on purpose, because firstly he's not running, so he can vote for whoever he wants, right?
Right.
I
And
guess
just out of spite because they threw him out of the race?
Yeah, but didn't he hate Kamala Harris in 2020? And, like, Kamala Harris was like, "You're racist," and then he just, like, had to pick somebody for, like, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
And Kamala just is a black woman, so you're gonna pick her, right?
Is she black?
Well, she claims to be black and Indian at the same time, which is cheating, right? Like, can't
Right.
you only be one?
I mean, you could be multiple things.
But she doesn't even look black or Indian. Like, she kind of looks.
She
Like
just looks white.
She doesn't look. She looks like a little bit, like darker white.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and her accent changes too. So sometimes she sounds like a regular Karen from, like Franklin here, or sometimes, she adopts a little bit more of a street cred accent. And I don't. Does anybody know what's going on with her?
Dude, no, she's awful. And like nobody voted for her to be the presidential candidate. She just
took
that.
it. Yeah.
And nobody cares. They're just like, okay, that's normal. Like,
it's not weird at all.
Oh, Trump has a very horribly unhealthy alliance with Israel. But who in their right mind would vote for Kamala over Trump?
These never Trump people,
Yeah.
man. Those are the only people. And I mean, after that, she did well at the debate. You got to give her that. She performed well at the debate, way better than anybody thought she would.
Well, you got to define performed well. She could talk, which I guess is better than
That's
Biden.
all it takes. You got to stop thinking about these things on such a high level. What it takes to perform well in a political debate here in the States is you have to sound nice and make your opponent look a little bit racist and appeal to everybody's emotions, and that's what she did. That's exactly what she did. And so by that measure, right, which is all that matters to the people she's aiming for, she performed exceptionally well. It's just the case.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I have such a low.
Are you
opinion.
blind? Are you deaf? I mean, what do you mean?
What do you mean she performed well? What that doesn't mean anything. She didn't state, hey, there's I would define performing well as getting up there and saying, be like, we've got X, Y, and Z problem in America. These are terrible problems. Here's how I and my army of people that I'm going to appoint once I become president are going to fix it. All right. Instead, she just got up there and pandered and be like, Trump's racist because of this. We're not going to go back to this, even though I'm the vice president right now. All she did was emotionally pander. She didn't say nothing about what she's going to do.
No.
She didn't say anything about, like, my plan for the freaking outrageous prices of everything that you can look at in the grocery store is this. She's just like, Trump's racist.
Right.
That's my plan. My plan for fixing inflation is Trump is racist.
And Trump hates women.
And they call that perform. Yeah, Trump makes women sit alone on a plane. Right? That's going to help me buy bread. Did you know that Trump made a woman sit alone in a plane? And because of that fact, your bread is going to go down by $1.50.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah,
She didn't perform well. She got up there and pandered.
Yeah.
That's exactly what performing well is in those scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand what the game is.
Yeah.
It's like the game to normies is just perception. It's like and especially if you compare it to the other guy who's just like as someone said, a walking bag of ball skin. It doesn't actually have some type of functionality. Yeah. So it's like the bar is so low, she just had to come off as a perception as, hey, I'm not a complete idiot.
She had to seem like an actual person, and she did that. And that's all she had to do.
Well,
and by that measure, she performed well.
If you're not even an actual person, she just had to come off as like, I'm not a complete, total idiot.
I know where I am physically.
Yeah, some level of competency had to be there. Not a lot, just that's how low the bar was.
Yeah. So by that measure, she performed well at the debate.
Jeez, if you take out the word performed, put in pandered, she pandered well. All right, if you could say she performed well compared to Biden, of course she did. That's like my 12-year-old dog growing up, Maddie, would perform well against Biden.
You're talking about an issue of semantics here.
Yeah, well, that semantics is important. Words mean things. Like in the terms of like against Trump, she got crushed by Trump. Trump doesn't even have to acknowledge her because she's so like reeking of elitism. And Trump, like, even though he's a billionaire elitist, like, masterfully throws that off. He can relate with the common guy so well.
That is a good point.
And
I've never really thought about that too much before. But as elite as Trump is, like, all of your your blue collar workers are, they feel like he's one of them.
That's because he may be a billionaire,
amazing.
but he'll spend $12,000 at freaking McDonald's for the Clemson football team, right? He may be a billionaire, but he's eating KFC with the boys. He's out there, playing golf and getting shot at by some insane guy. He's just one of the boys, you know. Whereas Kamala is like an elitist, pandering, like insane psychopath. So, to say she performed well, sure. To say she's performed well against Trump, not a chance in hell.
I think you're looking at that wrong, but I understand your point. In general, though. Anyway, we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's unstoppable in debates.
He wasn't as great as I had hoped he would be during the last one. I was hoping for a little more flair, honestly. I was a little disappointed.
Well,
he didn't come out as strong as I'd hoped he would.
I think it's past the point of like him having to do anything. He literally said one time he could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and not lose a single vote, and that's still true. He doesn't. It's just.
Did he really? Did he say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He said that in 2016.
And how true is that?
That dude has some balls.
How true is that, though?
It's pretty true.
Yeah. So, it's going to come down to November and you know what the script's going to show. Who even gives an F? So.
It's going to be interesting. Well, I mean, he keeps getting shot at. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of old news, but we were going to talk about the Titanic, but I've been moving and can't devote enough time to research right now, so we pivoted. There was a second assassination attempt.
Right. No one cares about your moving, but cool.
Well,
I care about.
I
your
was
moving.
giving some context, you know, because in the last episode we said we were going to talk about the Titanic. I'm just not leaving our viewers hanging.
I don't think anybody's paying that close attention.
Dude, we've gained like 8 subscribers recently. So thank you to all our new subscribers. We're going to make it worth your while. I'm going to sell you all mailboxes eventually. That's my grand idea. So just put that in the back of your mind. We'll stay tuned for that.
The Veritas Road mailbox.
Yeah.
Or you can get our newsletter.
Yeah. What was I saying before that?
You were going to tell me about these assassination attempts.
Yeah. So the first one's super famous. We already did an episode about that.
Yeah.
So Trump was playing golf on, I think it was like the 15th, like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And just the story goes that there's just this random guy. His name was Ryan Ralph. I might be butchering his last name. And he's 58, and he hid in the bushes, like right outside of Trump's golf course, for 12 hours.
That's some commitment.
So he was just sitting in the bushes for 12 hours with an AR-15 style weapon, right? The scary assault rifles that murder people, even though you have to push a trigger to murder someone. But anyway, and so, like, as Trump was playing golf, the Secret Service was like going like 4 or 5 holes ahead of him to do a sweep, and then
that's just such an amusing image.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was on Trump's golf course, so right. I mean, everybody knows he just goes out there and plays golf with random people.
Yeah.
So they were sweeping, and some Secret Service agent saw the rifle sticking out of a bush.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, that's some pretty eagle eyes to be seeing that.
Well, they are in the Secret Service, so yeah.
Well, why didn't they see freaking old what's-his-name on top of a roof like 100 yards away?
Well, they did, and they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, so why'd they do something about it this time? Because the dude immediately started shooting at him, and he took off running. All right. Which, to be fair, if somebody's shooting at me, I'd take off running.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the Secret Service.
Right.
I wouldn't try to fight back against the Secret Service. Because I immediately thought, well, why didn't he fight back if he has an AR? But it's the entire Secret Service. And
yeah. You're not winning that battle.
Yeah. Anyway, so he takes off running. He gets in his car. And some witness, and I tried to find out who this witness was. I don't know if it's been said. But the story is just someone happened to take a picture of his license plate as he was getting in the car and driving away. So that seems sketchy as hell right there. It was simply described as a witness. So that's some BS. But so then because the witness has this picture and calls in and reports it,
right.
Now the Secret Service has got his license plate. They bolo it out to all the law enforcement. They find him 50 miles north trying to escape Florida. And they arrest this guy. And I think the official charges on him right now are like he filed off the serial number on his gun. think they're going to try to get him with conspiracy to assassinate or whatever.
Right.
But I don't think they've actually formally done that. It could be wrong. But dude, like this guy, dude, he's a patsy if I've ever seen one. So he had been like arrested like 72 times.
What?
Yeah, like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. He was 58 years old. He was living in Hawaii. He like started a shed building business in Hawaii after being arrested like 50 times. So first of all, if you were arrested 50 times and you attempted to move to Hawaii, how does that even happen?
How do you get the money for
exactly, dude? How does he have the money to do anything? Because CIA is paying for it. That's how. But he's from North Carolina originally. But this gets even weirder, dude. This guy is a freaking insane nut job. So he, in 2022, let me back up. In 2016, he voted for Trump.
Okay.
By 2020, he was on the Bernie train, and he was like, Trump's let us all down, blah, 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 blah. But then he kind of switches back, and he's like on Tulsi Gabbard's side. And, now Tulsi Gabbard's in with RFK and in with Trump.
Right, yeah.
But then this year in 2024, he donates to like it's like Act Blue, which is like a Democrat super PAC. So his political, what would you call that, leanings are like all over the place, flip-flopping back and forth.
Right. Doesn't know which way is up.
Yeah.
Which is like any politician, to be fair.
Dude, so in 2022, this guy flies to Ukraine.
What?
Yeah,
What?
I'm serious, dude. He flies to Ukraine and attempts to enlist in the Ukrainian army. And they reject him.
Oh my god!
And then he attempts to like start recruiting people for like private military groups in Ukraine. And he was in, you know how the first guy was in a BlackRock commercial?
Yeah.
Well, this guy was in some kind of giant Ukrainian super PAC ad. And like he has dyed his hair the colors of Ukraine. Yeah.
He's been brainwashed.
Oh, dude, it's insane. John, can you look up a video of him? Just type in like Ryan Ralph Ukraine interview. It's weird as hell. I just want everyone to see a picture of his hair, because it kind of reminded me of. Remember what's the third Batman movie? Not a Dark Knight Rises. Remember in Colorado in 2012 when that guy allegedly shot up the movie theater and it was like looked like the Joker. Remember that whole thing?
I didn't realize he was dressed up like the Joker.
Well, his hair kind of reminded me of that. John, Ukraine has a knee. It doesn't. Look at that guy. Look, he's dyed his hair the colors of Ukraine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And did this video exist before 13 days ago? Like, I would be really curious, because all this stuff's obviously popped up when the assassination happened.
All right. How do we get onto Ukrainian YouTube?
I don't know. Just weird as heck. And then his son, so the alleged shooter's son, got busted for a bunch of child pornography also.
Oh, big surprise.
So he's a patsy. CIA's in on him from the beginning. They're funding all of his world travels, and his son's probably in on the whole Epstein ring. It's just a joke. And then this like died out of the news like 2 days later.
Right. Yeah, that hardly hit the news cycle at all.
Yeah. I mean, he was like 300 to 500 yards away from Trump, so like I'm not a bad shot, but there's no way in hell I could hit anyone at 300 yards with an AR. I'm not even sure a Navy SEAL could do that without like a super advanced scope or whatever. But I don't know. That's a really long heck of a shot.
Yeah, I mean that's 300 yards. That's close to 1,000 feet. I mean, that's a long.
But with an AR, dude, like if you had like
right.
a 50 cal or like a sniper rifle,
right,
that's a different story.
Yeah.
Not an assault rifle, but
right.
So was Trump ever in any real danger? I mean, who knows? Maybe if he'd have kept playing golf and the Secret Service hadn't seen him, he would have gotten closer, and it could have been different. But it's just a joke all around, in my opinion. But
well, the big question, right, is who's funding all this nonsense? Who's making it happen?
Dude, you see Elon's tweet? Like,
no.
Elon got in massive crap storm for his tweet after this. Was it still called a tweet, or is it an X post? An X. Did you see Elon's X?
I don't think anybody has given over to calling it X. I think everybody's just rejected that name and still calls it Twitter.
Well, some people call it X, but you can't. But you still say it's a tweet, right? It doesn't matter. So Elon was like, well, how come nobody's trying to kill Biden or Kamala?
That's a great question.
Yeah, and then, that got crap stormed. It got deleted.
Right.
But why does Elon have to delete? He owns Twitter, so why would he delete his tweets?
He doesn't want all the public backlash.
Well, who cares? He's got like $20 billion. Whoa.
Oh, you find an image of it, John?
Oh,
that's what I'm trying to.
Oh, I saw it before you.
Just leave it there. Yeah,
that's
that's good.
fine. That's fine. I can read that.
No. Just open the image.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which is a fair point, dude.
Yeah.
So obviously that is that I don't think that's inciting violence. That's just a question. Right? Like that's totally cool under the First Amendment. I don't know why there's
I would agree with you. Yeah.
Like if he would be like, we need to assassinate Biden and Kamala, that's a little bit different than asking the question of why is no one trying to assassinate Biden. So I don't even get why that's controversial, personally.
Right. Well, it's like that whitest kid you know video. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
There's this video. It's actually kind of poignant in a way, but where and you know the whitest kid you know people. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
have no idea what that is.
Okay. Well, they were like, I don't know, parody people, not parodies, but what's what I'm looking for? Satire people back in the day.
Like the Babylon Bee?
Yeah, well, they did. Yeah, but they did a bunch of videos, and they weren't necessarily politically charged. But they did a video where it's just like a guy in a like political seeming setting, and he's looking straight at the camera, all serious, and he's like, "It is very illegal, very very illegal to say, I want to kill the president of the United States. Not, however, illegal to say with a mortar launcher. Totally separate declarative statement." And it's just this whole thing on. I mean, it's what you're getting at is kind of the same thing. Like how far is it okay to go as far as that statement is concerned? And I mean, Elon has a point. People seem to be, if you believe the mainstream narrative, right? People seem to be trying to make attempts on Trump's life for whatever reason. Nobody is moving on Kamala or Biden at all, which is just interesting.
Right, which doesn't make sense in the Democrat narrative because aren't the Republicans the ones with all the guns?
Right. Exactly.
Right, and the violent ones, like pushing the violent rhetoric. So how come there hasn't been any violence against them?
Well, yeah, and that's in the greater political landscape. That's an interesting topic because you don't see like GOP people out in the streets rioting. Who's rioting?
Yeah,
it's all the far left wing, postmodernists, liberals out there who are tearing buildings down. Right. What is going on? These are supposed to be our peaceful, love everybody folks.
Right. You know why that is? Right. You know why that is? It's because the GOP, right, the people who they say are the dangerous ones are freaking going to work at their factories and their farms and, even increasing number of white collar as they get more and more sick of all this garbage.
Yeah. All the Californians that are
right.
here.
And they're going to work and they're paying their taxes, which go to giant national companies and conglomerations and foreign aid to Ukraine, which go to George Soros funded companies, which pay for freaking. They're literally paying for the riots. They're not rioting because they're paying for it.
It's just
literally
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Elon brought up a good point. So that leads everyone to believe that it's got to be somebody in the Biden-Harris campaign. Or it could be somebody in Trump's campaign trying to drum up support for Trump, but Trump staged his own assassination again to try and get his numbers up.
Those are my two prevailing thought processes.
It could be either one.
It's one of those, or it's the deep state. What's one of those three things?
Well, the Biden-Harris administration is the deep state.
Yeah, but in the event that it perhaps wouldn't be, which I know that's nonsense, but let's just assume for a second that they're not part of the deep state.
Well, I can't even entertain that. I literally can't even entertain that.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So it's either the deep state or Trump and his team are trying to drum up press.
Yeah.
Which didn't work super great on the last attempt.
Right. No, it didn't because it was fell out in 10 seconds. So
yeah, Melania did an interview promoting her new book where she said she was upset about how little press it got, which why people are asking her for comment, I don't know. But
probably because she's hot, right?
Yeah,
Trump Trump was like joking about it and was like upset that he couldn't finish his golf game. So maybe it's because like it wasn't as dramatic as him allegedly getting hit in the ear, even though his ear's fine.
Right.
But we don't have to get back into that. But I don't know. It's super sketchy, man. And doesn't that guy look like a patsy? Like just.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like somebody you could convince to do anything. He's that.
Right.
He looks like that kid in college who you can talk into eating a goldfish or running across campus naked. He looks like that kid in college.
We both know exactly who you're talking. You were talking about a specific person.
I am, but everybody knows that kind of person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He looks like that kind of person. All right.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he looks like, and we all know that those kind of people are easy to, they're easy to manipulate.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Like, there's no way. Like, even if everything that the mainstream narrative says is true, like, this guy's not acting on his own accord. He's acting because he's been influenced to act. And I don't even think. Yeah. I don't even think the mainstream narrative's true because we're just going to go off an unnamed witness.
Right.
Excuse me. I didn't want to burp into the mic. Is the linchpin of all of this? Yeah. No, thank you. I don't trust an unnamed witness from CNN anymore. And if you do, then your brain has been addled by 5G.
Well, I mean, does anybody trust CNN anymore? Their views have got to be through the floor, right?
Well, I mean, they play it like every freaking airport, so that probably helps their views. Like
I'm sure it
airports
does,
and bars and stuff.
I mean, what do you think the numbers are like for CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, right? Compare those to like InfoWars and Tucker Carlson's show.
Stu Peters. I'm going to plug Stu Peters. That man is incredible.
I don't know who that is, or anything on like the Daily Wire, right? What do you think their views are compared to like those supposed independent media sources? Because I bet they're through the floor. I mean, not even counting people like Joe Rogan, right, who obviously get tons of views. What do you think those? They can't be great.
Oh yeah.
Who's watching those anymore? Who's watching MSNBC or like who's watching those?
Well, Fox News probably is the biggest of all of them. Still.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just because all the old school people still turn on the TV?
Just all the baby boomers still watch the news.
Right.
But even they're not watching CNN unless you're like in upstate New York or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but compared to the alternative media, yeah, not a chance. Like, how many people was like watching Alex Jones live stream of the debate? Like 2 million or something? Wasn't it like?
It's a ton.
Wasn't it insane?
Yeah.
Compare that to all the legacy media combined, like not counting airports and bars and freaking like schools. Who's actually? Yeah. Did you see the Time magazine cover?
No.
Hey John, can you pull up? I sent the picture in the email. Now this doesn't prove anything, obviously, but it's kind of weird that this came out on 9/11, 4 days before this assassination. Well, way too far away. It's gonna be like the first email.
There's no email
did not
there,
send
bud.
anything to the email. So someone vamped for a little bit while he just tell me what to look up.
Just Google like Time magazine cover Trump September 11th, 2024. I might have sent it to my own email on accident.
Great job.
Sorry, I failed everyone live here on air. Now I gotta double check.
Is it
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So this was the Time magazine cover on September 11th.
Is so small.
Yeah, why is that so dang small? I sent a full-size picture, dadgummit.
Give me a second.
All right, there it is.
All right, well, our resolution will just be horrible.
That's
but yeah,
fine.
Yeah, that came out 4 days before. Trump in trouble on a golf course, so it's interesting, and it was on September 11th.
That's so sketchy.
Yeah. Again, doesn't prove anything, but just add that to the preponderance of weirdness with this second assassination, with the clear BS of the first.
Right.
Like, this to me is a little more believable than the first one, just because it could be some maniac randomly gets to the fence line and the Secret Service actually does their job and sees him.
It's the circumstances are way less weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still weird.
For sure.
But it's not like the outlandish movie script of the first one.
Yeah.
So if I was going to say, like, first one 100% fake, second one probably fake. That'd
Well,
be
I
my
mean,
opinion of it.
I bet they fired the godless bastard who wrote the script for the first one. They were like, "You son of a bitch, dude! You're such a bad writer. Do better next time. Make it more believable." You know, somebody got fired.
Well, the head of Secret Service got fired.
Yeah, maybe she was the one planning it all.
Now people are calling for the head of the Secret Service to get fired again. Just some man. So, and you know what? If I'm all for cutting the government, so fire him. Fire him and don't replace. Fire all of them. But
All of the Secret Service?
Just fire the entire federal government.
All of it?
All of it.
That seems excessive.
Remember that? Who's that guy? He's like a crazy hermit. Not Ralph Nader, but some other guy.
Ron Swanson?
Who like runs for president all the time. And he's got a weird hermit name.
Ted Nugent?
And his not Ted Nugent. I don't. But his platform is to abolish the federal government, which I'm 100% fine.
All right.
Trying
Now
to
you know
think
that.
who you're thinking of.
You know what I'm talking about, though, John.
Yeah, are
right?
you thinking of
It's weird. It's like some kind of Indian name, but not. It's like sitting horse. But it's like.
Oh no!
like
Are you thinking of See, wear the boot on his head?
Yeah, he does have kind of a boot-looking head.
Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, Vermin Supreme.
That's
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, he's got some good ideology.
Carson, I'll have to show you Vermin Supreme real quick.
He's kind of like a
That's
modern-day
hilarious.
Radagast.
What?
Yeah, from Lord of the Rings. He's really weird looking. But he runs like every year, like a Ralph Nader type.
Oh my gosh. That's actually what he looks like?
Yeah, he wears a boot on his head.
He's still alive.
He's not that old, dude. 1960 is only like, mid-60s.
Why does he wear a boot on his head?
I don't know. You would have to ask him.
Can we get him on the show?
We probably could. I'd get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's the guy that wants to destroy the federal government or abolish it, right?
I mean, I'm sure to some semblance of that. He's ran on the LP ticket a couple of times.
Yeah, he's got a Twitter.
Wow.
So we'll try to reach out for him.
That's insane.
How did we get on him?
You brought him up.
You brought him up, bud.
Do you remember why I brought him up?
You're just talking about abolishing the federal government.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'd fire the Secret Service.
All of them?
Yeah.
We gotta have somebody to protect, like Trump and those people, RFK.
Well, they should be out there with assault rifles protecting themselves. That would make this a whole lot more interesting, wouldn't it? If Trump had a bazooka.
We don't need another Mexico
Right?
situation where they killed 30 of their presidential candidates.
Did that happen recently?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
I can't remember what country it is. It's it's either Mexico or some South American country where they had, X amount of candidates on the ticket and they killed 30 of them. It was outrageous.
I haven't. John, that presidential doesn't look right to me. It looks like presidential.
I try to type
What you're
fast.
typing out has come up so many times. It's grim record.
Oh, there's a record? I guess that's
Head of
okay.
Sunday's election. Holy shit. This should have been on on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was in May of this year. The number of assassinated
37.
candidates, 37.
It's not funny that people are dead, but
Like-
it's weirdly funny.
Yeah, we don't need that happening here. That's why we have.
Yeah,
a Secret
and
Service.
this isn't just presidential candidates. This is all political candidates in Mexico's various elections.
Okay. Still, that's still insane.
So
I was close.
Well, I mean, I laugh at that, and that story's there to look down on Mexico. But you don't think that kind of crap happens in America? Just nobody knows about it.
I mean, I'm sure it does, man. I mean, all of these people who are Epstein. Epstein.
The Clinton body count,
yeah,
dude.
right. Yeah.
That kind of stuff happens all the time. It just gets buried as accidents and suicides and stuff. And if you question it, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Like Seth Rich died because he stood up to the DNC.
Yeah.
But you're just a conspiracy theorist, right? He got robbed, you conspiracy theorist, and that's an insult to his memory. Like, I'm sure Seth Rich was a liberal Democrat who I would have disagreed on just about everything. But he died trying to expose corruption for something he believed in, and people poop on that, saying he just got robbed. And so that should infuriate everyone, even now, even if it's 9 years later. And Kamala is essentially Hillary.
She is. She does seem like a Hillary Clinton proxy.
Yeah.
Which I've never been able to put a finger on that until you just said it. Like, that's exactly what she's like.
Yeah, she's just a Hillary Clinton who can claim she's black. I mean,
Right.
she's. How many times are we going to just do this virtue signaling nonsense over and over and over again? I'm sick of it, dude.
And she's middle class.
That's right. Yeah, she's the California elitist middle class who,
Yeah.
probably makes millions in the stock market at every single,
Right.
insider tip.
Yeah, she's worth, what is her net worth? Like $15 million? I'm pretty sure
15.
it's somewhere around
Oh,
there.
dude, it's got to be more than 15 million.
Well, I know it's a lot. And so to claim she's middle class or even, that's idiotic.
yeah,
idiotic.
I mean, there's not much of a middle class anymore.
Didn't she grow up in f***ing Canada, too?
Did she? I thought she was from California.
I think she grew up in a portion of Canada.
That is absolute
This
BS.
is saying estimated net worth of $3 million, roughly $3.5 million
In 2018,
and I don't buy
Before
No.
she was vice president.
No, you have to stick a zero onto that at least.
Yeah.
That is some BS, dude. That's just saving face propaganda right there.
That is some nonsense. Well, I might give him that in 2018,
that.
man.
This is saying net worth of roughly $8 million.
Yeah, according to Forbes.
Yeah.
I'm sure Forbes wouldn't be on her side.
Jeez.
There's no telling how much money she's worth and how much secret assets she has and all,
Well, and a lot of that will probably come flooding in once she's taken, big contracts from companies after she's vice president, right?
But even if let's just on the 0.1% chance that's true. You're not in the middle class if you're worth $8 million.
No. Maybe in 10 years you will be if inflation stays
Well,
the
that's-
same way it
that's
is.
a good point.
But yeah, no, you're right. All this middle class nonsense. At least Trump is honest. He's like, I'm rich.
Yep.
All right. I'm a businessman. I don't have to be here, but I am. Let's all go have a drink.
Yeah.
That's he's honest.
And he appeals so well to the middle class because if the middle class, they're like, hey, if I ever got rich, I'd be Trump. I would pay $40,000 for KFC chicken. And,
right.
I would be out there with.
I'd have a supermodel wife.
Right.
I'd go play golf with my buddies every day. Have a mansion in crazy bull Florida and a porn star.
Right.
If I had money, that's what I'd do. That's why Trump connects with the masses.
Right. I'd be buying casinos. I'd be shooting off tanks with Kim Jong-un. I'd be chilling with Putin, drinking vodka, riding
Just hanging
polar
out
bears.
with the boys.
Yeah, exactly. If middle class was rich, they'd be like, yeah, I want to be Trump.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
I just want to not give an F about what anyone thinks. I just want to do my thing.
Right.
And dye my face. His face looks so weird.
Please, if anyone's hearing this, I want to know what's going on. Is it self-tanner? Is it makeup? Does he have a melanin problem? What's the deal with that? I'm so curious.
Me too.
Why is he so orange?
I don't know. But you know what? You know what, though? You seen those before and after pictures of, like, when presidents who went into office and when they went out of office?
Yeah.
He don't really look that much different to me.
No, he's the same shade.
Yeah, he looks pretty much exactly the same. So, I don't know. Maybe that means he did it right.
Maybe so. Ooh, here's you think Andrew Jackson had Secret Service?
No, because the Secret Service wasn't
Yeah,
invented. It came in after Lincoln.
Yeah, it came
Yeah, but
in
my
with
point
Lincoln.
being, like, we need all these people now, right, to guard the president. Back in the day, when men were men, they didn't. Andrew Jackson just kicked your ass. What has happened between then and now?
Well, for one thing, yeah, men were men, dude. You could just walk up to the White House and ask to be let in,
Right.
which is what they did. He didn't like some guy who tried to shoot him. His pistol dry fired, and he just beat the crap out of him with his cane.
Right.
Right.
What
and he
happened
said
to that?
Well, first of all, that's a super weird story because the guy that killed Andrew Jackson claimed he was a long lost descendant of the King of England. Right. And they all thought he was unhinged. Andrew Jackson hated the British because they beat him. Like, he was like 13 years old during the Revolutionary War, and they like killed his brother, and they like hit him in the face with a sword.
Damn.
So he hated the British. So that probably set him off, and he beat the guy half to death. It's probably just because of that. No.
Right. Notoriously bad temper.
Right. And he was the best president by far. Not only because he's a Tennessean, because he destroyed the central bank, and the only president to ever pay off the national debt.
Anyway.
You're the one who brought Andrew Jackson up. You had to know I was going to just sing his praises. The Indian thing's probably propaganda. That was bad. Let's blame that.
It was bad. We can agree.
We can blame that on John C. Calhoun, who he also hated. Anyway, but yeah, to your point, boy, have we gone far downhill from there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, at least Trump, to Trump's credit, too, he's out there, like, have you seen videos of him? He'll just, like, get off his plane and then just, like, shake people's hands and take pictures of people for, like, hours and hours and hours.
The dude, like, the most cynical view of it you can have is he knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah.
That is the most cynical view I can have of that. Dude knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah, I mean, and who's going to want to even do that with Kamala?
Nobody. I'd want to do it with Biden just because it'd be fun to mess with him.
Well, like that redneck messed with him. That was hilarious, Biden putting on a Trump hat.
Right.
That guy's probably like a hero in the QAnon crowd.
He's probably a hero at home, man. That didn't look like a big town. He's probably... They're probably hoisting him up on their shoulders right now.
Well, that was a big boy. It'd be hard to hoist up. But
good old Leroy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Plus Andrew Jackson, he was president of a whole different animal, man. It's so much has changed since the Secret Service started with Lincoln and Grant and stuff. But
yeah, I just think it's crazy how we've gone from that to Joe Biden, who can't stand up without help.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still letting him out in public. Somebody, that's pretty ballsy at this late stage in the game.
I mean, didn't somebody finally come out and admit that he has dementia? Was that I feel like I saw that in the news somewhere. Like early stages of dementia. I think somebody mentioned that.
I don't know.
Fact check me on that, someone out there. But I feel like somebody mentioned that. He obviously does. Whether it's been diagnosed or not, he clearly does. But
I mean, I've seen people with dementia be much more cognizant than that.
Right.
Like,
we beat Medicare.
That's right. I'm telling you, he looks like a freaking Disney World ride. That's how bad it is.
He doesn't look like a Disney World ride to me at all, but he does look lost.
Well, you've never been to Disney World, so you don't know what I'm talking about.
I guess that's
true.
true.
You could just stick him in It's a Small World, and he'd fit in right with the animatronics.
I don't think that.
All right.
He looks like an old person.
Okay. We agree to disagree.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, well, anything else?
I think that about covers it. I mean, you think of anything else you want to say?
I mean, just all these, we haven't had.
I'll ask you a third question.
All right.
All right, then you can say what you're going to say. You think there's going to be
Appreciate
another...
the permission.
Think there's going to be another assassination attempt before the election?
That's a good question.
That's what we can end on. Not to override what you were saying, but I thought of something a little late.
If you would let me finish. I was we haven't had these in a long time. What's going on? Why are we all of a sudden having all these assassination attempts? Like, nobody was trying to do that with Clinton or Bush or Biden or Obama. That hasn't happened in decades. I'm aware of.
Do you count some Iraqi throwing his shoes at George Bush?
No, I don't count the shoes.
Just wanted to clarify.
Although that is a great video.
Yeah, so we went from Reagan.
Yeah. That's the last one, right?
Yeah, to Trump twice. Now twice in 66 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just trying to... Things seem more divisive than ever, and they're trying to drum up the... they're trying to part the waters, man. They're trying to get the undecided middle people to as low a point as possible. They're trying to get as close to 50-50 as they can, get people polarized as much as possible. To what aim? I don't know. To what aim. That remains to be seen, but they're clearly trying to get people involved, get people polarized, and get people hating the other side.
Yeah. It's just so strange. It's like somebody turned the dial up to 11 because, I mean, sure, there was a lot of polarizing propaganda, during the Hillary Trump, campaign, Romney and Obama. Like, there's been a lot of who was it Bush ran against? John Kerry, right? Was it John Kerry?
You're thinking of Al Gore, probably?
No, I'm thinking of the second Bush.
Al Gore was the more controversial one. That was the hanging Chad.
That was the hanging Chads. No, I'm thinking of I think it was John Kerry. I can't remember who the second Bush.
He was in 2004. Are you saying second Bush in terms of George W. Bush's second term?
Yeah, I think George W.
Yeah.
Bush's second term.
Yeah, it's John Kerry.
Okay. Like all the, it was divisive, but it wasn't like it is now. And certainly nobody was trying to murder anybody, be it fake or not. Like nobody was pulling that nonsense. So what the hell do you think has changed in the last 4 years that has this going on now? Because if it's real, that's horrific. If it's, if it's some kind of staged event, that's still insane. And so, what the is going on out there?
For one, the government operates in staged events and false flags. I mean, that's a historical fact now. Look at the Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us into Vietnam. Look at Operation Northwoods. Those are literal facts and not conspiracy theorists. So to say well, my voice randomly went out. So to say that they don't do that in other arenas of their operation is completely ignorant. Second of all, like Trump is very engaging, right? Like he can work a crowd, like you said. So people are way more drawn to him, and that's what makes him so useful to them. Because they're going to care a lot more about what he says and does, like in large part simply because of his personality. Like compared to like Bush and Kerry, who are just old elite white people who are both in skull and bones and nobody gives an F.
Right.
But Trump is like, oh, it's freaking Trump. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, dude, America. Blow up a tank, drive a race car.
Right.
So that kind of thing, people get way more involved just because it's more entertaining. So they care a lot more. I mean, plus, he's masterful at like playing the victim, like the deep state is always out to get him, oppress him. And people internalize that because they feel that about themselves. Like the government's always out to get me. I'm constantly being oppressed. Here's this guy who's out there fighting for me. So they're going to care a lot more. And that gets people involved and get them to hate what's opposing that. And then you have the other side, which are like, if Trump's a racist and they've brainwashed all these liberals to be like, oh, equality and all that, then they're just going to hate him just because they hate him. And boom, you've got a powder keg waiting to blow up.
Yeah, and if you also just look at the script from 2016 to now, it's almost like it's just a natural progression of things. Because like
true.
It started out with, hey, we're gonna like just spy on your campaign so you don't win. Then he wins. It's like, hey, we're gonna frame you for treason so you get thrown out of office. Hey, we're gonna impeach you and try to throw you out of office. After he gets out, hey, we're gonna arrest you and throw you in jail for the rest of your life. And then it's like, hey, we're gonna put a bullet in your head.
Right.
So it's just like the story is almost kind of like whatever the script right is, it's just kind of naturally progressed from one point to now.
John, that was well said. So let's put in the next story. Hey, you didn't win this election. And all the Trumpers are like, no way. He won. Now what do we do?
That is a terrifying prospect.
Right. It's either going to be, hey, Trump doesn't win, and we know that's BS because nobody's voting for Kamala, or Trump wins in a landslide, but hey, you're going to jail because of X, Y, and Z. Those are the two outcomes, I think. He either doesn't win the election and there is rebellion to put him in the presidency, like freaking like Palpatine style, and then he never gives it up, or he wins the election but they take him to jail.
Yeah. Well, supposedly Alabama just got sued by the federal government for some election issues. I think the election commission or the state governor, somebody in Alabama, just tried to eliminate, I think it was like 3,100 people off the voting registry because they weren't, because they were illegals or something to that effect. And it was, according to the federal government, too close to the election. And so they sued the state of Alabama for it. So there's got to be something fishy going on there.
Oh, yeah. Alabama, first of all, they're the only people that marry the right way. So kudos to Alabama. Fight the federal. Alabama, you get a marriage certificate, you're married under common law. You don't get a marriage license.
That's great.
Okay, whatever. Thanks for your enthusiasm.
You're welcome. It's not what we're talking about.
Well, I'm saying why I think Alabama is already a leg up in the good.
Okay.
As I delve into this.
All right.
Fight the federal government. Heck yeah, man. I'm all for Alabama.
Well,
fight.
The question is, what the hell is going on? Why are they eliminating 3,000 votes? 3,000 voters.
Probably because, it's fraud.
Yeah,
Like, I'm a whole lot. So, Oregon,
3,200. It was more than
yeah, an
3,100.
effort to remove non-citizens registered to vote. Is
That's what I
they're-
thought. Okay.
Just
what they're
Oregon.
claiming.
Yeah.
Oregon did something similar, but in the reverse. They, like, accidentally added, like, 300 illegal voters. And, like, it was just a data entry mistake.
Of course.
So, are you going to trust Alabama or are you going to trust Oregon?
Right.
One of those is not like the other.
Yeah. Well, the federal government sued Alabama for it, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Alabama's on the right track. They're trying to clean up their crap. Biden goes after them. Oregon does the same thing. Oh, it's just an honest mistake, and nothing happens to them.
Was it Alabama or Georgia that was involved in that big scandal with Trump last election?
That was
Yeah,
Georgia.
Georgia? Okay. Yeah, I knew it was. Which that phone call was... Everybody about that phone call. It was not bad at all. I don't know if y'all listened to that. But, obviously Trump was pissed, but it's not like he asked people to commit fraud or anything during that. Which is the way everybody spins that.
Yeah. Well, they can spin. They can, you can kind of get away with that in Georgia just because of Atlanta and how Democratic Atlanta is.
Yeah.
But everybody and their mom, though, if Alabama goes Democrat, there's election fraud.
That's true.
There is no hiding that. Alabama going blue is the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Same thing for Tennessee. In the 2016 election, Tennessee has 95 counties. 2 of them were Democratic.
Wait, let me guess. Shelby County, which is where Memphis is,
Yeah,
and Davidson County, Nashville.
that's correct.
Wow. All right. Got it. On point.
So
Yeah.
I think Haywood County was almost. They were like 50-50.
What city's that?
That's Brownsville.
Okay. Yeah. No, you can't trust anything anymore because of all this election fraud.
That's
talk,
right,
man.
dude. That's right. That's what I'm saying. So if Trump loses in November, no one's going to believe it. And then what?
Yeah.
That's the danger of all this building up and this hyperpolarity. They're building it. They're building up to that, dude. They're building up to where nobody believed it in 2020. Okay, but that was kind of the first time anything like this has happened. So they're like, we got to let the process play out. We got to do all this crap. We got to stage the insurrection. If it happens again, that's probably the whole purpose of 2020, to undermine faith in the next one. He better win, dude. I'm serious. Not because I think politics is real, that it matters, just for the sake of not
Domestic
having
peace?
a civil war. Yeah.
a bunch of mullets are gonna rise up from their trailers.
What do you
march on DC? Is that what you think?
What do you think the last straw is? Seriously, I'm serious.
I don't know, man. All of this gun control talk that we're hearing, after all the Operation Warp Speed stuff and all that back in 2020, it's hard for me to know what the last straw is because I thought we would have hit that a long mother time ago, and so I keep waiting for that last, grain of rice to break the camel's back, that last straw, and it's not happening, and so I don't know when people are gonna just lose their minds. I don't know when that's gonna be.
I don't either. But think of how many people like that. How many mullet wearing redneck, just people going to work at the factory, buying beers on the weekend because their life is. How many of those people have put their entire hopes in Trump?
Right.
They're like, this country's going to hell. All of my finances are going to hell. I'm going to have to work till I'm 105. The only thing that's going to save it is Trump. How many people are in that mindset, right?
A lot.
I was there for a while, up until 2018 or so.
Yeah.
And if Trump loses, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
All right. Well, we'll see how many days until the election?
I don't know, 45 or something.
Yeah, it's on November 5th. So.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. It's on the 5th of November, the V for Vendetta Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guy Fawkes Day.
that is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think
That's not 45 days, man.
That's the first Tuesday in November, right?
I was just a quick guess.
Yeah, it is.
That's less than 40 days, I think.
Are we going to count them here?
No.
Well, you've already brought it up. We might as well count them.
2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
It's 35. It's 37 days. 37 days.
37.
37 days. It's going to be a wild 37 days.
Yeah. Hey, we'll keep an eye out if anything happens with 33 days to go. First time around, Trump got corona with 33 days to the election, so we'll see if anything happens, sometime late this week.
All right. And to answer your question from earlier, I have no clue if there's going to be another attempt. A lot of these things seem to happen in threes, right? And so you would suspect, there may be another one.
Maybe with 33 days to go.
Could be. I don't know.
Maybe
I
with
hope there's
33
not,
hours to go.
Yeah, I hope there's not. That would be unfortunate. But I wouldn't be, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised by much of anything.
Me either, dude. I did a little numerology. For those of you who love the deep conspiracies, little numerology calculator right before we started recording this. On that Time magazine cover, time's up, how it said, and golf course are the same in Pythagorean numerology.
And
what are the odds of that?
What are they?
99
in
added numerology.
Okay.
So, just got to make you wonder, what's the plan? Because this is clearly all building up to something.
Yeah, this election cycle it's like a movie script. It's played out so much like a movie script. You have Trump, who always runs things like a reality TV show, right? And you have all this build up with Biden, and then he drops out, and then what happens next? Kamala steps in, right? And then it's going to be another big build up until the grand finale. Who knows when that'll be? Will it be on Election Day? Will it be on Inauguration Day? Who knows? But it's going to be an insane fall.
Yeah, hey, John, you had a theory about the Electoral College going rogue. Was that your theory?
Oh, yeah, what was that theory?
Something I think that could happen. So the election is November 5th. That's when people will go to the polls and cast their ballot for whoever they want to vote for.
Right.
But, our system, we don't actually vote for the president. You vote for a slate of electors who are pledged to vote for the president later.
Right.
They vote on December 11th, I believe. And that's when the president is actually chosen, and then it's counted.
Yeah.
That Congress on the first day of Congress is January 3rd or January 5th. So I think somebody might win on November 5th, be predicted to win, but on December 11th, it might be different. Because in 2016, electors voted against both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton when they actually voted. Hillary Clinton lost 6 electors in Washington and I want to say maybe Oregon. Donald Trump lost 3 in Texas. One elector voted for he lost 2 in Texas. One elector voted for Ron Paul, and another elector voted for governor of Ohio.
Harambe.
John Kasich.
No.
So it's you have to have 270 to win. So if it's close, 271 to, 268, 269 or whatever, just a couple of electors flipping that flips the election. Or if a couple of electors just flip to somebody else, then it goes to Congress, and Congress has to choose.
Right.
Yeah,
and
dude,
they choose from the top 3. The House chooses the top 3 on the ballot for the president. They vote by state, so each state gets 1 vote. Senate chooses the vice president. Each senator just getting 1 vote.
That's an interesting theory there, because you could have Trump winning the election in November, but then it switches, to Kamala in December, or
vice versa.
Vice versa wouldn't be. I feel like that would be less devastating to the civil unrest.
Mm.
You could have
you
the
think if Kamala won on November 5th,
but then it switches to Trump.
Yeah, and then on January 6th, Congress chooses Trump.
I would argue there would be more riots.
Yeah,
if that happens.
especially if it goes to Congress and the House picks Trump as president, 26 to 25.
Think about
because the Republicans control the majority of state delegations in the House. So if it goes to the House of Representatives, it would be Trump.
Take a minute. Let's think about this logically. We're gonna end this soon, but we've hit on an interesting topic, so we're gonna finish this out. So think about this. All right, you're suggesting, right? If I'm not misunderstanding you, that if Kamala gets elected and then the Electoral College switches to Trump, right? There would be civil unrest with all the mullets down here in the South. Yes, and then go storm the Capitol and all that.
No. I'm suggesting the opposite. That's literally the opposite of what I said. I don't think if I'm talking. All right, so there's a difference in.
You're saying if Trump gets elected and then it switches to Kamala.
That would be far worse.
Will be far worse than if Kamala gets elected and it switches to Trump.
Right.
So and I imagine your reasoning is because if Trump gets elected and it switches to Kamala, all the rednecks would be pissed. Right. Okay. So
can I clarify what I mean
in
the differences in those two situations before you ask me that question? one of those situations, Trump wins and then Kamala gets it in December,
Right.
that is freaking rebellion, like real rebellion. All the mullets are pissed. We've had enough.
Yeah.
The other way around is just more of 2016 riots. They riot for a couple months, it'll be over.
See, that's where I would probably disagree with you, because I would imagine the people who are more unhinged and more likely to commit acts of violence are these radicalized groups that committed all the violence in 2016, that were throwing Molotov cocktails and breaking department store windows and taking over Seattle. You know, there aren't too many radicalized right-wing groups currently like there were then. I mean, there were insane groups of supposed, sweet, people-loving liberals walking around taking over these towns, right? Just rioting and killing people. That hasn't gone on, right, with the other on the other side of the coin. And so my assumption is there would be far worse civil unrest if it's Kamala and then it becomes Trump. That's what I would think, because the people who are hardcore Trumpies typically are the folks who they keep their head down, they go to work, they don't pitch a fit, and so they're much less likely, and these people typically are less. At least in my experience, less easy to radicalize. They're less instantly emotional, so they're far less likely to join a group of people and go trash a department store, right? They're much less likely to do that, and so I would imagine the civil unrest that might occur then it'd be less and be much less likely.
See, that's where I hear what you're saying, dude, but that's where I'm saying where the last straw comes in. You're 100% right. They're a whole lot less likely to get emotional. They're a whole lot less likely to respond in like just off the hinge, just not organized, methodical ways. But what is their breaking point? If freaking Trump wins, they're like, hallelujah, we're saved. And then
Right.
then Kamala gets it in December, they'll know it's freaking fraudulent and be like, finally, we're done with this. We're done. We're organizing, right? The danger is real civil unrest, organized rebellion by people who are not controlled by the system entirely, right? All these riots, all this crap in Minneapolis, and all these Antifa people, they are unhinged zombies that are funded by Soros and groups like him. Like they only riot when there's money and when it's incited by all of these CIA, FBI, all these proxy groups. All that stuff is controlled. It's controlled rioting. It's controlled opposition. What's not controlled is the people that go to their factories, drink their beer, and are just sick and tired. And once that straw finally breaks their back and they're finally ready to fight back, there is no government controlling that, and that will be true revolution. That is far more likely to happen if Trump gets screwed than Kamala. It's going to be, sure, there's going to be huge civil unrest either way, but one of them is more likely to just go away as the funding ends and as the news story gets old and as the rednecks go back to work. The other one is, we are sick and tired of this. Let's overthrow the entire government.
Okay, here's a question for you then.
See the point I'm trying to make?
I see the point, yeah. Here's a question for you then. Has the line moved too slowly to make that for that to happen?
That's a good point. Maybe.
Because, we've gotten used to the idea of, it is a hanging Chad thing, right? Back in Gore Bush, and now we've gotten used to the idea of election fraud, and we've gotten somebody started turning the water up a little bit more, So has the progression been too slow for that to happen?
It might. You might be 100% right. Like the frog's either going to jump out of the water or it's going to die.
Yeah, and I would say is the more likely scenario would be that the Trump people would just kind of give up on the system and just not listen to it anymore than go into some type of violent revolution, right? To me, it would just be like, hey, we just don't recognize you anymore. We're just going to do our own thing.
You think the government's going to let you do your own thing?
Okay, stand for
that. I mean, what are they going to do if 50 million people just say, we just don't recognize you anymore.
That's my whole point. What's far more dangerous, the rednecks rebelling or the Antifa idiots rebelling?
That's not necessarily rebellion. It's just we're just saying it's like, hey, we're not going to listen to you anymore. We're just going to like say we're in Alabama. We're just going to stay in Alabama and do Alabama's thing.
Well, that would be secession.
Well, yeah, but if
they tried that once, John.
Yeah, but like if you think now if all of like Alabama, Georgia, and like Texas just said, hey, federal government, off, we're not going to listen to you anymore. You think the federal government could do anything about that?
I don't know. That's the big. That's the problem with that, right? Is that's the big question mark. Is we don't know. Nothing like that has happened in at least our living memory, and so the big fear is that is totally and completely unknown.
Right, which goes to my point, which is why it's far less dangerous to just let the Antifa people throw their Molotov cocktails if Trump goes in December.
We're used to them rioting. It's not a big deal.
That's exactly. We've seen it before. They'll do it again. It'll be over by March. Everybody goes back to work. We'll have to buy a new window. Okay. Now, and that's not to make light of the people who lost all their crap in the looting.
Yeah, no.
I'm just making a point. Like nobody gives an F if Antifa's rioting.
Right.
Now, what John was talking about is completely uncharted territory and terrifying. So that's why I would make the argument that, if Trump goes in after Kamala wins, it's ho-hum. It's, okay. If Kamala goes in after Trump wins, we're in trouble.
Interesting. You make an interesting point. Yeah. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting no matter what happens. Because they've got everybody so 50-50 volatile.
The dominoes are lined up, man.
Yeah.
It's just waiting. We're just waiting for that first one to fall, and then it's going to be. I'm genuinely scared. I get nervous thinking about it.
Well, you know what we haven't even talked about yet. Which I wish we were going to end this like 20 minutes ago. It's finally starting to get good.
Yeah.
Is the whole Trump last president thing? Right. Like there's a book by Ingersoll Lockwood called The Adventures of Baron Trump. Baron Trump is Donald Trump's youngest son. It talks about him like going in all these underground tunnels in Russia, right? And then there's a sequel to that book called The Last President, and it describes, and these books were written in like 1901 or something, and it describes.
That's the kicker. There is that
allegedly, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be the Ministry of Information like putting that in there in 2017. All right, I fully acknowledge that.
Right.
But according to mainstream, they were written in 1901, and it's about this guy who lives on Fifth Avenue in New York City, and he becomes president, and everyone hates him, and the whole country rebelled.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then there's Trump saying at the Bitcoin conference, and I'm going to clip this video out. He's like, you vote for me, and you'll never have to vote again.
I don't like that.
You seen the whole Project 25 agenda or whatever?
2025. I've heard about that. I haven't looked into it.
I just know all the I haven't read it or anything, but all the Democrats claim it's like Trump basically becoming Palpatine. He's like going to become a dictator and never give up power.
He's pretty old. I don't think he's going to hang on to power that long. He's 78. 79? 78.
Yeah, he's 78.
So, I mean,
who knows?
Even if he did try to pull power and become a dictator, I mean, you got, what? The way he eats McDonald's, you got, 10 years at best? I mean, he's not hanging around for that long.
Yeah, well, then Junior will just take over, right?
I guess.
And then there's the whole Q angle, and we need to do an episode on Q because there is some insane stuff with Q. Like the freaking it's like JFK's grave being in a giant Q and all this crap, being like JFK Jr. is Q. Like, it's insane, dude. All the connections.
RFK Jr. You mean?
No, JFK Jr. Who allegedly died in a plane crash in 1994. Yeah, there's massive. The JFK Q stuff is insane. Okay, Q is a whole rabbit hole, and there's truth in it, right? Anyway, like, think of all those people. They're not gonna just. Their whole livelihood is Trump's going to come in like freaking Gandalf and Helm's Deep on the third day and save everyone's
right.
They're not going to take Kamala lying down.
Yeah, the Q-tards are a special breed.
I'm just, they're not all tards. There's something.
No, I say that lovingly. No.
Like, I think it's disinformation. There are a lot of smart
people who are into Q.
I think it's humongous disinformation, but there's some crap happening behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I don't debate that at all. No, I just think it's funny to make fun of them. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just gotta wait and see. I don't know.
Be looking for our live stream on November 5th.
Yeah,
Gonna
we're
announce that right now.
I mean, go for it. We'll probably discuss the last president thing a lot more then.
We
So,
probably will.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time.
We'll have plenty of time.
I'm gonna try to make a montage of my video editing skills.
Okay, you can. That'll be more work for me. So, all right, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next week.
Yeah.
The road leading to the election. If there's any, insane breaking news like a third assassination attempt, we'll try to get a video out real quick.
Dude, yeah.
We're late to
we'll
the
do a
party
quick
on this
video.
one, but
We're way late to the party,
Yeah.
but what the hell?
yeah. Titanic will be coming soon. But
Yeah.
thanks for listening, everyone.
Yep. Love you guys. Bye.